got stories to tell. I see both sides like Chanel. See on both sides like Chanel.
Yo, this is your boy Ramis Prime 35, aka Scotty to the T, and we are chilling and marinate like we always do. Happy New Year's. This is a whole brand new year's. 2024 is gone. Now we're about to begin with 2025. Hopefully everything will go out pretty good as well of this New Year's. Hope we get some good things. All right. So my conversation to today is what I'm about to talk about is Raw and Netflix together. Okay, my opinion of this, well, before I get to my opinion, I'm pretty much just going to say there's a lot of people love it and there's a lot of people hated it. I can see where this is kind of going, but I don't. I don't know if it's just because of the views or more views that come in when this started. I don't know. Let me go back to the old school days of the old school that we used to watch when we used to watch wrestling. And we'll go back to the USA Network, where everything all begins when wrestling started. And I remember USA Network pretty much posted a lot, dude. I mean, we had the old wrestling, way back in the day. This is when Warriors and the Hogans and wrestling stuff they used to show back then. USA Network was showing a lot of WWE stuff for a very long time. And after for a while, it just, after, they started showing the Attitude Era. Attitude Era was one of the best of all times. Nothing you can bring down on the Attitude Era. That's where it is. But when they started converting to when the USA Network came out, then it went to Spike TV. Then the Attitude Era still going on. I don't know if it was just the viewers, because a lot of people saying, well, the Attitude Era was too much because usually WWE was pretty much is basically a family friendly event. That's just all it is. It's just mostly it was mostly family. It wasn't like what it was back then. But I guess when McMahon pretty much had turned it up a notch, like, hey, it was a competition. It was a competition between WCW and WWE. They had wars. So when the wars pretty much started, WWE was like, okay, let's just turn this a notch, because we was having these little weird gimmicks, like crazy looking characters that, wasn't fiction. It was just, for the kiddies to, to watch. And then when WCW came in the picture, oh man, they went out with the NWO and they took it, because I remember Eric Bischoff was pretty much just wanting these characters to be realistic. He wanted his characters to be real. He wanted to be the way they want to do it, and he did that. He pushed the envelope on that one, and it just took the nation by storm. Pretty much when the NWO started with WCW, and they went in it. Then WWE had to make a decision, and I guess everything changed. And I remember when Vince McMahon pretty much made, I guess he did some kind of interview that he was just talking about, what can we do to make stuff more better? What can we do to, we're really going to turn the volume up a notch. And that's exactly what he did. He turned the volume up. And then once he started doing that, Attitude Era begins. And it was just like anybody doing what they want to do. It was freed up. And it was like, that was the best wrestling of all times. And I guess when Steve Austin started doing his things, drinking the beer and flipping the bird and stuff like that. And then, the cussing and stuff came in. When he came after that little gimmick, everybody else started doing it. And it was just like Attitude Era was one of the bestest. And I miss it when the USA Network pretty much had it. It came on like, I think it was 9 o'clock over to 11 o'clock. And I remember at that time, because I was still working at a hospital, and I had to be at work at 6 o'clock in the morning. So, it was hard to kind of watch Monday Night Raw at that time, but we didn't care. Raw was it, because we want to know what Steve Austin gonna do, what the McMahon was going on, what DX is gonna do. It just kept going, man. It kept getting stronger. What The Rock was gonna do. We loved that stuff, and they told the story out of it. And then it was back and forth again. We flipping back and forth between WCW and WWE again to know what the NWO gonna do this one, or what you know, what they gonna do next. And it was a battle royal, so it was just pretty much, it was great back then in the 90s when they did that. But when the Attitude Era came out, man, it was going down. The pay-per-views was pretty much was good back at the time, because we didn't have the WWE network at that time. We pretty much just, you know, we had to order it on, you know, pay-per-view and stuff. We had to pay that money to look at it. And then when the network started coming out, you know, you can just pay. Back in the day it was $9.99, you know, when they did that little thing that they did, that you can watch all the WWE network shows. And I think they was putting between WCWs and ECWs and all the rest of them, you can watch in those shows, and that was pretty cool at the time. I think the WWE network is going to be closed of this year, so I guess that'll be the end of it. But I think if you still have Peacock, I think Peacock is still going to continue to have the WWE library, and they'll still just keep going on as it progresses. And then once the USA Network kept going with this, man, we missed it for the world. And, you know, like I say, it's been out for so long period of time, and now they signed. When I first saw the announcement that Triple H was going to do this, is we're going to make Monday Night Raw on Netflix. Now, this is my good part of this, and this is my down part about it. Now, I'm gonna go back with the down part about first. A lot of people don't have Netflix. A lot of people don't have internets, you know, that can look at this. You know, that was cable TV was the source of watching these events. And until now, it's just like they're going with the Netflix, and a lot of people thinking, you know, what the hell, you know, because it's just like we used to watch, you know, USA Network with WWE for quite some time, but it probably was a contract that was probably expired with the network, with Raw. But the funny thing about it is SmackDown is going to be on the USA Network. So because I think, you know, I just don't understand why they do that. Well, I guess it was an investment. It was an investment to see how this goes. So like I say, we'll see how this plays out, man, and we'll see how good it will get. We just hope it don't have no errors or have any buffing problems, because we knew what happened with the Tyson and the Jake Paul fight, and then that was a mess because Netflix wasn't very good of doing live shows, because they was losing the feeds. Everything was just freezing up. I thought it was something was going on with my service. I know everybody else had that same issue, and I'm glad I didn't have that problem, but they had a really bad issue of that service, and it was just keeps cutting it out. It kept buffing around and around. That was very annoying. I had to keep cutting it off, cutting it back on, cutting it off, cut back, you know. We just hope that they don't do this, and we just hope that really Raw will come out flat. And as far as the hours goes, I don't know if they, to be honest with you, I really hope they put Raw to 2 hours. Please put it back to 2 hours. The 3-hour gimmick, you know, it would just certain things that make stuff longer. They need to go back with 2 hours. I think 2 hours pretty much was the best, but it is what it is. If they want to go with 3 hours, then by all means. But I kind of really lost hope because I've not really watched it wrestling in a while. Now I have went back with the new bloodline with the old bloodline. You know, they, you know, bowing out, and like I say, they tells a good story. And I guess at that time when I started watching wrestling, there was no storytelling, and I guess it pretty much just threw me off that I didn't want to watch it anymore. But if I want to watch a wrestling, I want to have a good story. I want to have a great story to tell it from the beginning to end, and let this thing keep going. Let the story commits to keep driving. But when you don't have a story, you just put a match like that, there's no story to it. It's just a wrestling match. Here it is. There you go. Boom. Now, since Triple H pretty much came in the picture, I really seen he's doing a fantastic job at this. He's taking control. He's telling stories, which that's what we need to do. We need to have a storytelling to make it work. If you don't have a story, it's not going to work. You're just going to, you know, technically just going to fail right through. So, you know, who knows? But there's a lot of people that's loving it. There's a lot of people loving, like, oh boy, this is something new. You know, Netflix is having Raw. Everything look good, you know. So hey, let's just roll with it and see where this plays out, and then we'll keep it from there. But a lot of people just don't that really can't afford it, you know, and you know, it's just kind of hard to watch it. And a lot of people saying, you know, Raw, this is it, game over, I'm done. We just go continue. We just watch SmackDown. That's the only thing we can pretty much look at. We look at SmackDown, or I think NXT is still on the USA Network. I think, I'm not for sure. Just leave me a comment if I could be wrong. They starting to bring out more new materials with the Netflix concept, so hopefully we'll see how better it gets. Same thing with AEW. I think they are doing their stuff on Max. I think HBO Max, well, Max, I'm not gonna say HBO Max, just to say Max, but I think they're gonna be doing their thing pretty much with their wrestling events. So like I say, contracts pretty much expires because you could pretty much can do what they want. But I guess a lot of people are thinking since Raw's going on Netflix, anything goes. Wrong. They still going to keep it. I remember listening to Khan, not the Khan from AEW, but the other one from WWE. He pretty much was saying that it's still going to be family friendly. It's not going to be out of wall control that it was. So who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? You know, nobody knows. But they want to kind of keep WWE still family friendly show. They don't want to go back to where it was back in the Attitude Era. Now, just think, if we had a Netflix back then and we had the Attitude Era, oh my God, dude, because if you go back in the day when DX was pretty much showing the girls when they was, you know, flashing their boobs on the show, if you remember that, they blacked it out. I guess they just said DX on D-Generation X on the thing. Now just think if they did it on Netflix, oh, they gonna show them, because that just bring it up to the top. But I don't think I don't think they're gonna do that. I think they're just gonna keep it the same way they left off with the USA Network. They're gonna still can do it the same thing. But who knows? I mean, nobody knows what's going to happen. Nobody knows what's going to happen. Hopefully stuff will come out pretty good. Keep the story and everything. Everything will go into play. Peacock is pretty much still keeping their pay-per-views. So like I say, if you watch the pay-per-view events, you know, Peacock still has theirs going. You know, I can still watch the events. But we'll see. This will be my first time watching Raw on Netflix. I'm gonna see how this plays out. See how good it's going to go. Like I say, things may change. Triple H may make his announcement, you know, when this thing starts. He already done pretty much made it that what's going to happen, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see what the yays or the nays, and, you know, see how this thing plays out, because like I say, there's a lot of people they're very disappointed in this. You know, they just hoping they find another, you know, cable provider that can do this instead of, you know, doing Netflix, because there's a lot of people I heard that don't have Netflix. A lot of people that pretty much can't afford it, or a lot of people just don't have the internet sources to watch this, or they will have to have a clip or whatever you can, you know, watch like on YouTube or something like that, you know, whatever you couldn't see. So they have been doing highlights and stuff like that on YouTube, because I know there's sometimes I don't really watch Raw like that like I used to. And I know sometimes, you know, the older I get, you know, it's just like I just want to just crash. I just want to go to sleep and then, you know, get up the next morning, got to go to work. But I know back in my day in the 90s, you know, when we had the Attitude Era, yes, I went to work, but I was young at the time. I was younger. So that means it was pretty much, I think I was like in my 20s, and I can just pretty much watch the show, you know, even though I still, you know, be tired and be going to work, but I won't be as really tired. I still have enough energy to get up and go to work, because back in them days, you know, I didn't have a car. So, you know, I had to catch the bus to go to work. And then when Raw come on, sometimes my cousin will, you know, he will take me and whatever and whatnot. But then when Raw come on, when 9 o'clock comes on, it's time. You know, we don't want to change nothing. We'll flip that mud to the USA Network, and you hear that Monday Night Raw, that war zone music, you know, and you just get pumped up, and you have Jerry King Lawler and you have JR pretty much doing the commentary. Man, that's old school times, man. I miss those days, dude. And it just, even though you don't know, Steve Austin might come out first, or The Rock might come out first, or DX might come out first. Who knows? You know, like I say, back in those days, they told the story and it went through it with a bang. And then after we started watching that, here we go again. We flipping the channel again. You got WCW, what the NWO is going to do next, and then, you know, what Hollywood Hogan's going to do, or, you know, it just keeps going. But back in those days, man, was the best times. It was the bestest times of my life that I used to have. Between me and my cousin used to sit and watch Raw, or we'll watch the pay-per-views, or sometimes that they will come to my house and we'll pretty much will just watch the events, and we'll have food and we'll just eat and watch and have a good time and just laugh and talk about the events and get hyped and stuff like that. Man, you know, I really miss that so much, that, you know, I used to live that moment. And then when Raw come out on Mondays at 9 o'clock, the end was a 2-hour show and everything was busting, dude. I mean, like, it was one of the bestest of all time. And it's like I say, to this day, I still have VHS tapes of Monday Night Raw back in the Attitude Era. I remember there was times if I was tired enough and I was, you know, I want to go to sleep, I'll have it record and then I'll watch it the next day, and I just, you know, recap of something that I missed, because that's back when we had the VCR tapes and we used to do that. And because I remember not too long ago, I rocked my VCR and I had some tapes, and I'm surprised they still work. And I started, and pretty much what I was doing was I started watching all the shows and stuff that was pretty much that I recorded back on the USA Network. I think it was the USA Network, then it was TNN. TNN. They was showing Raw before, because they kept changing. First it was USA, then it was TNN, then it was Spike TV, then it went back to USA. God, it took me a while. I had a brain freeze. I had to remember that, because I remember TNN had Raw at that one particular time, and then it just went back to whatever they was going back to. But it was off the wall, dude. It was banging, and I miss it to this day. So now we're gonna see what Netflix has in store with Monday Night Raw. And then, you know, there's a lot of people, like I say, you have a lot of people may look at it. There's some people just probably won't. They probably just go back and recap it somewhere. And, you know, like I say, you'll have more people watching SmackDown than you would do more on Raw. But we'll see how this plays out. We'll see where this goes and how long it'll be on Netflix. Like I say, it may be on Netflix for a long time, because if they put more moolah to it, you know, we'll see where this goes. But we'll find out my expertise, and, you know, like I say, we'll find out. Alrighty, leave your boy a comment below to tell me what you think about what's going on with Monday Night Raw with Netflix. You know, there's no point. Give me the yays or the nays, you know, what y'all think about it, and see what's going on. Subscribe to your boy. I very, very appreciate that. You know, give me some thumbs ups, and what y'all think about Raw joining Netflix, and, you know, give me your opinions. You know, I love and I will definitely will comment back to you. All right, this is your boy RP35 signing out of here. Y'all take care, and y'all have a very, very blessed day. Peace.